No. Oh, boy, I think she's actually hurt. No, I think she is. Yeah, she's hurt. She took a hard fall off there. Boy, gosh, I hope she's okay.
I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go. It's a Friday edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It is your daily sports podcast. It's all brought to you by everyone. It's brought to you by you, the people. We broadcast every single day on the Daily Puck Drop from the Limbach Lumber Studios. They offer everything free deliveries from whole house packages, homeowner DIY projects, largest stock moldings. They are in the Northwest. They've been doing it since 1930. Give them a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbachlumber.com. Follow me on social media. We got PuckSports on X and also Instagram and Blue Sky. Puck_sports there on TikTok. Check out everything. Video, audio links, all of it, pucksports.com. Also, you can sign up there to become a Pucks Posse member. Membership gives you access to everything we do here, all the free shows, plus you get bonus shows every single week. It is a Football Friday tailgate show. It's brought to you by Flat Stick Pub, also Georgetown Brewery. On Fridays, we have Jim Moore is going to be here in a second, and then Chris Egan from King 5 will take you all the way here for the next 30, 40 minutes. We've got our handicapper, Troy Wins, coming by to give you all the top picks for this weekend. Todd Milles, VarsityWaNews.com, give you a preview of all the Friday night football action, high school football. Bob Condotta, the last word. Bobby C. Caught up with Bob earlier today. He was going to catch a flight, come back home, recap last night's huge Seahawks win there over Arizona. It's been a banner week here for the city of Seattle. But without further ado, on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, ladies and gentlemen, he's not from a Starbucks bathroom on this Friday. It's Jim Moore, brought to you by an army of sponsors.
Puck, that's right. I'm hoping that my internet connection is going to hold today. It seems a little spotty. I've got it plugged in and everything. But my thanks to Brad Brotherton at Brotherton Cadillac Northwestern Shoreline and Brotherton Buick GMC and Brotherton Cadillac in Renton. Not working?
I'm just it's a Friday, so I'm expecting it not. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay so far?
So far, so good. Yes.
Okay. They're fourth generation family at Brotherton Cadillac. You know what that means? They've been in business a long time. And when you're in business a long time, you're doing a good job there. Brad Brotherton, check it out. Go visit them in Shoreline or Renton or online at brothertonauto.com. Another Coug, Matt Baker. You've heard about Matt Baker. He owns the Angry Beaver. It's an awesome bar in Greenwood. You can go to the Angry Beaver and have a triple header this weekend, tomorrow. Huskies at 12:30, Cougs at 4 o'clock against Colorado State, and then you can watch the Mariners as well. So check out the Angry Beaver. It's a great spot. It's a hockey bar, too. You'll have a great time at the Angry Beaver. And my thanks to, I know it's just the end of September, but if you want Christmas lights, if you want them, a good display in your neighborhood, if you want to be the best neighborhood display ever, you don't want to fall off your ladder and kill yourself, okay, don't do any of that stuff. Call Brian Turner, okay, at Bright Owl Lighting, 360-675-2034. Get a free estimate. He'll come down and he'll do it for you. All right. So you don't have to. BrightOwlLighting.com.
All right. Is it cold in Bend? I mean, you are really bundled up, sir.
It's cold in Bend this morning. Yeah. I was down in the high 30s or something like that. Ooh. Took the dogs out. And God, I had a great time on the coast. The Oregon coast was so much fun. I didn't really even want to come home, but here I am. So,
well, yeah. and maybe your wife didn't want you to come home. Did you ask her?
No, a couple of her girlfriends are still here. They seem like they weren't, all that excited to see me, and I wasn't excited to see them either.
Well, that's what leads, ladies and gentlemen, to a happy marriage. All right, joining us, as he always does, on a Friday fun day, it is Chris Egan from King 5. How are you, Chris?
Well, Jim and Jason, it is great to see you too. I'll tell you this, Jim. People are loving when you and I do some things. And I had somebody last week that told me they actually were driving up 167 to Seattle listening to the show. They had to literally pull their car over because they wet their pants. listening to you in a Starbucks bathroom. So there you go. We're coming off a great Friday night. Puckett and I, Jim, we had a
Chris,
fun
it really is
broadcast.
the highlight. It's the highlight so far of his career. And he's been on a viral video in a bathroom.
I mean, that was big. We Puck and I had a good big game, Jim. But I'm going to tell you what, guys, and we're coming off a huge night. The Seahawks getting that big win. The field goal, 52 yards. But I've been working every day down in Seattle, King 5, right across from T-Mobile Park, and we hear about how baseball is such a romantic sport.
Mm.
And it feels like we're in a world right now where there's so much division, but this is a very romantic sport. And to sit outside, and I overlook T-Mobile Park, the fans going in, the fans coming out. I'm telling you what, I just celebrated 25 years of King 5, and it is something special going on right now with the Seattle Mariners team and what they are doing to the Pacific Northwest and bringing people together. I mean, Puck, you were over there. I was over there on a Tuesday and Wednesday. The place is sold out. It's going to be sold out this weekend again. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what we're watching. We're watching history with Cal Raleigh. So it's just so much good stuff going on right now. And so let's go. Friday is here.
Is there a way, though, we can talk to the Mariners? Can we reduce ticket prices? I mean, I'd like to go, Jim. I'd like to go to as many games as possible. But can we somehow reduce what it costs? And maybe that's
how much are they?
Mark. I don't even. I'm embarrassed to tell you what I paid.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
For Sun. No, I don't. I can't even.
Why?
Because I'm embarrassed.
Well, you're a big deal at PuckSports.com. No one would be surprised.
No. Sunday. What I paid Sunday for the Dodgers game.
Let me guess, $250 a ticket?
Now we're sitting in the bleachers.
Okay.
Why would you want to go to that game?
It's the final game of the year.
Final game. Isn't Clay Kershaw pitching too, Puck?
Oh, I don't know, but there's a lot. There could be something on the line too. Sure.
I thought you were talking about playoff tickets.
I don't know.
Well, and Jim,
my
Puck
wife's
has a
birthday
point.
this weekend. She wants to go to the Dodgers game,
and it's going to be packed. Crowd's going to be singing, but Puck does have a point. Very slim chance that the Mariners grab the 1 seed from the Yankees or the Blue Jays. But if we all dream big,
World Series, that's what I'm talking about.
World Series regular season record. Yeah, you want the best record, and right now the Dodgers and Mariners are even. So if they can win this series,
so don't let anybody tell you that the series doesn't mean anything this weekend. It does. It means a lot. It means a ton.
Well, I hate to say
record.
this, Puck, it's the old school business, supply and demand, and everybody wants to be at a Mariners game right now. Everybody wants to be part of this party, and so ticket prices
lower. Here's all I want. Is there a way that we can, when we buy these tickets, is there a payment plan that I can pay like every month or so and be like, hey, here's $20, and then I'll pay the other $20 the month after that?
And it's not even the tickets, Puck. To paint the picture to the listeners and viewers, I drive into the Soto area every day, and I can usually get a kind of a gauge on how big of an event is going on by the parking prices, because I'll come in, I'll take the West Seattle Bridge, so I'll come in and I'll see it slowly go up, and usually, if it's just a weekend game, weekday game, it's $10, $20, $30. I'm rolling in on Tuesday, down by Starbucks, I see $50. I'm like, oh, geez. I get near the Krispy Kreme, 75. You get past the Krispy Kreme, 95, $100. $100, Jim. This is Taylor Swift parking prices right now. It's crazy.
What's the most you'll pay, Chris? Because for me, it's 20.
For parking?
If I have to pay more than 20, I'm out. I'll go find something in an alley somewhere. I just won't go over 20.
But you'd pay the fine for the parking ticket violation.
I did. The last time I went, I thought I was in a spot that was good to go, but it wasn't.
Did it say no parking?
Yeah. I don't know, Puck. Will you pay more than 20?
Well, I mean, I have, but I don't prefer to do it. No, I get the benefit rather than you two, right? Like I live somewhat close, so I can I can bust down, even though that takes forever. We did it on, what game did we go to? They clinched Wednesday. We took the light rail. Now we got to drive from Ballard. We have to drive over to Northgate. Now that's its own adventure to drive from Ballard to Northgate, and then took the light rail down. It's the first time I've done it. I could not believe. And then that Northgate stop is like, I think the third one from Linwood and then Shoreline. I couldn't believe how many people were on it. It was packed. There wasn't a damn seat. You're packed in there like sardines. And then after the game, even worse. And I'm like, Jesus, man. Like everybody uses that thing. So
well, and it's just been nonstop since Saturday. Last Friday and Saturday was the banana ball. Took Savannah Bananas were in town.
That was awesome.
I mean, that place was packed, and all of a sudden you get no day off. Mariners coming to town, and looks like it's going to be like this for a while. Looks like next Saturday and Sunday, guys, going to be the home games. And how about that Sunday? You got a Seahawks game, I believe, against Tampa Bay that day as well. So they're going to have to make that Mariners game probably a night game because they're not going to move the Seahawks game. Yeah, so it's going to be awesome.
Hey, Chris, explain the Savannah Bananas popularity to me, because I can see them being popular.
Yeah,
but when they're selling out ballparks as big as T-Mobile Field, and they do it everywhere they go, and I've watched them. I think it's fun. I'm just surprised that it's as huge as they are.
I will tell you this, Jim. I'll try to explain it quickly, but if you ever want to kind of find out why the Savannah Bananas have taken off, just look up 60 Minutes did a report on them. And they basically hang out with the owner. And the owner talks about a story where he was the GM of a minor league baseball team. I think it was in North Carolina. And basically he sat in the back in the bleachers, and he had a old school notebook and notepad, and he just took notes. And anytime a fan, if it's Jason and his kid watching, look down at their phone, he'd be like, what's going on? Why are they looking at their phone? Anytime anybody would get up and leave, why are they leaving? Basically he was trying to figure out what was wrong with baseball, what was taking people's attention off the field and putting them on their phones. And it's just 2 hours. I'll say this, Jim. It's Harlem Globetrotters on steroids. I mean, it's literally 60,000 people singing, dancing. There's good baseball. I mean, these are Division I minor league baseball players out there, and they're just putting on a show. And I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if this thing's going to stay like this, but it was a fun environment. I'll tell you that. It was definitely fun. And I would go again. And you go into that place and it's just packed with a lot of families. It's just I think a lot of elementary school, junior high kids just love it, Jim. And for them, it's quick pace and fun. And sometimes baseball, let's be honest, can get boring.
Yeah, it's fun. It's trying to get new kids involved in it that maybe wouldn't be excited about baseball. All right. Where were your guys' eyes last night? Now, I had the benefit. I had to watch everything afterwards because we had the mighty Ballard Knights were practicing right during the time of all these games. So when I got home, I tried to avoid the game as best I could. But then one of the coaches blurted it out. Hey, we got to stop. And I'm like, you son of a. So I catch the last few minutes of it. Then I've got the Mariners game on, and the Mariners game is by the time I get home, they're up. I was 6-1 or 6-0. But Jim Moore, what were your eyes at last night?
Oh, my eyes were on the Seahawks game because I didn't think that the Mariner game meant anything, especially after Detroit beat Cleveland. And so, in fact, I had a little action on the Rockies last night. How stupid was that? Thinking that it was going to be the letdown spot, a double hangover situation for the Mariners. And the Rockies are proof that you can just show up and beat them no matter what. It doesn't matter what you have. So, but the Seahawks game I was more interested in last night than the Mariners, but that's not typical.
Were you upset that the Seahawks won that game last night?
No, not at all. I was really happy about it. I was pretty excited.
What about
Jason? I'm a guy all about redemption, and when a guy misses a field goal like that, it's nice to see him come back and hit one like that. I was kind of curious why the Seahawks didn't try and make it a little closer for him so he didn't have to have 150 plus. Sure. But I was proud of Jason Myers. I'm really happy that he knocked it through the uprights. And I know what you're getting at because I had Arizona in 1.5. I get it, Puck. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make all the 12s hate me. Like how in the world could Mora bet on Arizona plus 1.5?
But I don't understand why
because I'm a dumbass, okay? I'm a dumbass. I thought maybe Arizona, and I thought Arizona was going to go for 2 when they got within 2019.
So did I.
I think a lot of people did, yeah.
But what I don't understand is that you look at the past there. They've won 7 straight against them. They were 10-1-1. And James Conner was out. What in earth would you think Arizona was going to cover?
Okay, Mr. Hindsight. Because sometimes sometimes when it looks too obvious, like it looked too obvious to me to take the Seahawks last night because of the points you just brought up with Connor being out. Kyler Murray's record is horrible against the NFC West. That kid, they got to do something with him. I still love watching him play, but he doesn't have a winning record.
The interception to Ernest Jones, I'm like, he's throwing into 3 Seahawks defenders.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was looking at on that play.
Chris, where were you at? I don't know if were you working last night? What were you doing? You got 2 TVs up?
And Puck, here's the funny thing. I was working, and they threw a party for me to celebrate 25 years, and everybody's like, he's such a great guy, blah, blah, blah. He never gets mad. Well, we've got to a point at King 5 now where we're like in every single show, not only a sports cast, but we're at the top because the Mariners fever. We have a Seahawks show last night that's live. So Paul's down in Arizona. So I'm really tuned to the Seahawks because I've got to cut those highlights. Yeah. I'm like Jim. I'm kind of looking to the left, watching the Mariners. I think this is interesting. Anytime Cal Raleigh steps up, I think everybody's watching this game. But basically, I do a whole half-hour Seahawks show on Kong, and I got to run down and be on King. And one of the producers like, oh, you missed your tees. Chris, you missed your tees. I'm like, I almost just lost it. I almost just started throwing things around because I'm like, I have done 32 hits today on TV. I'm about to lose it. And we haven't even started the playoffs yet. So
I can't picture you losing your temper, Egan.
I was close last night, Jim. I was close.
Oh, I can. I can.
But I think the focus was on the Seahawks. I think I'm like with Jim. I think the Mariners game, it looks like they had it at hand early. Gino gets the home run, and then obviously that game comes down to the final play. What's baffling to me, and I'd love to get your 2 thoughts on this, is like I've now watched, I think, 5 NFL games closely over the last, week, and this kickoff rule is really affecting. And obviously that wasn't in a lot of highlights last night, but it should have been because
it's the play of the game.
It's the play of the game. And the kickers are really struggling with this to get it in the right area because that ends up being a huge play for this.
You don't know what you've just done here. You've wound him up, and now we're about to unleash the Tasmanian go-to devil right now. Go ahead, Jim.
How can there be anyone alive that likes the NFL kickoffs? Anyone? And how can there be anyone alive who knew that was a rule last night? I mean, there's probably, I know, Jim, I knew. Well, okay, fine. Okay, no, wait, I'm not done. Let the Tasmanian devil go. Let the Tasmanian devil go.
You should have known because it happened in the Pittsburgh game.
Okay, well, let me just keep whirling around, okay? Bugs Bunny's over here, Elmer Fudd. But I'm the Tasmanian devil right now. And for those people who knew the rule and then, right away they were like, oh, that ball landed on the 21. He didn't get it in the landing area. They're going to take it out to the 40-yard line. Well, screw you too. Even if you knew that, even if anybody knew that rule, those kickoffs in the NFL are so fucking stupid. They're just stupid, man. They're just stupid. It's not debatable. And then calling it the dynamic kickoff. That's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. If you got kids listening, it goes beyond stupid. That's why I use the effing to, highlight.
You know what? It really is. I'm going to be one of those that I knew the rule. Al Michaels didn't know the rule because he miscorrected.
Well, okay, he should know the rule. He's calling the game.
The ball's going to come out to the 30. I'm like, no, it's coming out to the 40. That's why it was such an egregious mistake what the guy did. Everyone agrees with you. It's stupid.
Yeah.
The thing I find most dumb about it is when they kick it off and everyone just stands there.
Like, yeah, I know. Like there's no playing football where that happens.
I sign up to watch guys run into each other. And you know what? They did too. And if they don't want to run into each other because of their fear of getting hit, then you know what? Go play basketball. Go play something else.
And then the other part of it, you have to declare if you're kicking an onside kick.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that stupid rule too. You're right. That's dumb.
And it's so funny. Broadcasts help a little bit too. Like, can they put the zone? Like they say, how they'll show how many yards to a first down. They'll put a little graphic and change the field. They need to do some type of graphic to show where the landing zone is at. Because Jim, I'm with you. Like, I mean, I kind of know the rules, but God, I bet you 90% of people watching last night are like, "What?"
It's very confusing.
Why are they going to the 40? Why was the game just decided because of that?
Stupid. Chad Ryland is his name, and I believe Mike McDonald gave him a game ball afterwards.
That's the kicker for the Cardinals, or that's the
kicker for the Cardinals. Game ball.
Yeah.
Mannequin Mike was in there. Oh, look, I'll give a game ball.
Stacking game balls. Stacking game ball.
Did you see his halftime interview?
No.
You want to talk about at a cliche university? God, he hit them all. He just hit them all. It's just, you got to go back and watch Mannequin Mike halftime interview with, what was her name? Kylie or Katie or
Hartel.
Yeah, Hartel.
That's beautiful.
Mannequin Mike. Yeah, it was just great.
I'll tell you, they were good enough last night for Stephen A. Smith to lead his show with the Seahawks in the NFC West. Are they legitimate contenders to win the crown in the division? Well, I think everybody would say yes to that.
And Chris and I, we base everything on what Stephen A. Smith is going to start off the next day with.
Hey, I'm just trying to bring up something about the national perspective of our team up here in the northwest corner of the United States. I think that might have been interesting. River's not interested, but I thought you might be, and I thought maybe listeners would be too. Hey, that's really cool. The national guys are talking about us maybe being a contender.
Hey,
Chris,
Sam Darnold's looking good.
Hey, Chris, it's not legitimate until Stephen A. says so.
Hey, Jim, what's Stephen A. saying about the MVP? Is he going with Judge or Cal Raleigh?
I don't know, but maybe he'll have it on tomorrow. Wait a minute, he's not on tomorrow. You got to wait till Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't listen to his podcast.
Hey, Jim, who does Stephen A. think does he think Woo is going to be okay for game one? If not, who does Stephen A. think they should go with?
My favorite moment was Stephen A. Smith. Do you remember a few years ago when he was like doing a playoff matchup preview, and he talked about some guy, what a difference he was going to make in the game, and the guy was on the injured list, and he wasn't playing. Yeah. Is that the guy you're ripping?
I'd like to have his money.
I know. I was just going to say that guy's done something right.
He's doing okay.
He's doing better than we are.
Yeah.
Hey, before I ask you a great hypothetical that was asked to me, hey, can we, as the kids would say, Jim, can we glaze Chris Egan for a second here?
Oh, because of the 25 years at King?
No, I don't care about that. I
think that's impressive. I'm going to glaze you for that. Yeah, Mikey's always like, "Hey, Dad, stop glazing." And every time I hear that,
glazing
when you're praising, you're glazing.
Every time I hear that, I think about donuts.
Oh, God. By the way, real quickly, Puckett, I'm coaching soccer this week, and I just totally messed up. I'm like, guys, I got 18 ninth graders around me, and I'm like, guys, we literally had 6 to 7 shots on goal. And literally all 18 of them, 6, 7, 6. I'm like, oh my God, stop it. We had 7 to 8 shots on goal. All right.
They're just giggling. They think it's the funniest thing in the world. I'm like, God, it's not funny.
I thought my fly was open. They're all laughing so much.
I just want to, Jim, I want to praise Chris Egan, 25 years at King 5. So last week we do the King 5 big game of the week.
People want us back, Puckett.
I of course show up fashionably late, 5 minutes before kickoff. Not my fault because it was hard to find parking.
And that's what I was there perfect.
On time.
Yeah.
This guy, so the game starts at 7. I've been there at 6:45 or whatever. This guy's been there since 2 o'clock.
About 2:30 we get there.
2:30. Yeah. He's down. I get in the stadium trying to find where we're at. He's down on the field. He's filming cheerleaders. He's hyping up the crowd. He's interviewing the dance team for Skyline. He comes up. He does the game with me. It's flawless. Thanks to engineer Sean, by the way. Is it Sean, right?
I think we had Ryan last week.
Ryan, I'm sorry. Yeah. Engineer Ryan. Yep. Engineer Ryan. He calls a great game. He's handshaking everyone that's coming up to the booth, despite the never mind. Okay, he congratulates everyone, and then afterwards he's there until midnight because he's got to do, live hits. I'm just the professional, the passion this guy has, the energy he has. It's unmatched. No, Jim Moore. don't say anything, Chris. Jim Moore. No one in the history of television in this city does a better job in the history of television, Jim.
I would have to agree with that. It's unbelievable. I really appreciate too what you do for high school sports, because most people won't do that, and so it's very cool. And I tip my cap to you. I tip my little Cougar beanie to you.
Yes,
for what
I wore
you
a
do.
Cougar hat.
It reminds me of me back in the day when I used to have that work ethic. But
it does. It does.
So
I think there's a lot of people that comment.
Well, and then everything Chris does for the Olympics too. All that coverage. And so, you're a special person, especially for wearing that hat today, too.
You don't know the work. You just don't know the work this guy puts into. Watch it behind the scenes is just like, I'm looking at him like, how do you have this energy? How do you stay alive?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Puck, it's pretty easy when you like, and I'm going to give a shout out to a Cougar here on this, because it's easy to give that much when you see other people giving that much. One of the first person I chatted with last week was the Skyline head coach, Peyton Pallure, former Coug great. I think he was captain 4 years, and now he's the head coach at Skyline. He's got some former Cougs on the staff, former Husky, Cason Williams joins him. And you can see this guy, just so much energy. He just wants to be great at Skyline, wants to have his kids have this great experience. And when you see these coaches giving that, it's like, well, the least I can do is try to give that back too. So it's fun. I was on the phone today with Dane Looker. He's one of the coaches at Puyallup. There are a big game tonight. He's going through the big board with me. You know, it's like we're getting ready for Sunday Night Football on NBC. Right. It's a blast. And Jim, I literally am shouting back to you how much I love you. But tonight in the booth, and Puckett was phenomenal. Tonight in the booth is the original Jim Moore, the original go-to guy of Puyallup. Joining me tonight in the booth will be Mike Heward. I'm a little worried because we don't have a delay button. But
he's got a potty mouth, Heward, huh?
The pride of Foster High, coached at White Swan, Foster, and then spent 17 years at Puyallup High, won a big King Bowl championship in 1987. He'll be joining me tonight in the booth. I'm excited about that. It's going to be fun. We got former Jags coach Troy Haffaday, former Vikings receiver Brett McDaniel, a big fan of yours too. So we're going to have fun tonight, but hopefully Puck and I can do another game here shortly. We're going to be, I think, up in Snohomish next week, Puck. So maybe.
I had a blast. It was so much fun to do. And being, and Jim, you know what that environment's like just because your kids went to school there. And let's glaze Issaquah for a second. They had it was an amazing turnout. The place was electric. The kids were great. The families were great. That environment of that high school tucked away, in the forest, basically with Tiger Mountain, right? It was just beautiful. It's just the whole town, because that's the cool thing about Issaquah. It's like a little small, little old school town, and it was all there for that game, and we saw just a.
Who was the quarterback for Issaquah again? Skyline won, but Skyline won, but we got some good stuff with the Issaquah quarterback because Puck's daughter.
Well, the backup, so they're two brothers. The older one is the backup quarterback. The younger one's the starting quarterback. The backup quarterback and my daughter went to the same German nanny when they were growing up. Like they were like 5 months old, Fraulein Christa, when they were over in Green Lake. So I've known the Brad Kirkpatrick for a very long time.
So Jimmy tells that story. He tells the story about the German nanny and their German roots. And the next play, the kid busted 12-yard run, and I just came out of me. I'm like, Kirkpatrick, guten Tag.
It was great. Hey, and so what? And then Egan is so good at what he does. He's the play-by-play. He's on top of it. He's got all the play-by-play stuff right. He's got the names right. He's calling it all out. He's got great stories about the what was it? The coal miner bell or whatever they gave away.
Yeah, the coal bucket. They play. I don't know, Jim, if you knew this in Issaquah, they play for the coal bucket trophy when they play Skyline. Apparently, in the 1880s, Issaquah was a big coal mining town.
Jim knows that. He knows his Issaquah history. Yeah. And now, because you're so good, it has spawned admirers of yourself, including I was sent a voicemail. They say that, when someone imitates you, that's the sign, the greatest respect, correct?
Oh, no.
So somebody sent
That's
me a
what they
voicemail
say. They say
of you doing the game. Here, you
Oh,
want to
boy.
hear it?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Everybody, King 5, big game of the week. Chris Egan, Jason Puckett joining me here at Issaquah. The handoff, Mushake. Mushake with the handoff. And a good pickup it was, Jason, for 5 yards.
There it is.
That's pretty good.
You got
Yeah.
Mushaki right. You love saying Mushaki.
Yeah. No, that's well, we had one. I was just going through my big board at Puyallup, and one of the coaches was giving me nicknames, and now the head coach is like, no, let's go with their real names.
Yeah.
So,
Let's go with their real name.
Well, that'll be fun tonight with Mike Heward. I covered high school football back when he was a coach there at Puyallup, and he was a class act. No matter win or lose, you could always go up to him and get a good quote. And boy, what a hell of a coach too.
yeah, he really, I think 15 winning seasons, I believe. He was there 17 years, and 3 times they played in the King. I wish they would just call it the King Bowl. I know the Kingdom's gone, but I
Me
just
too.
love that. I love that the King Bowl. You know, you're playing for the King Bowl title.
Why
I
can't
love
they
that.
just change it to that? Why? I know that's the Gridiron Classic. That doesn't carry weight. The
It doesn't
King
ring.
Bowl.
Yeah.
No, the King Bowl. Yeah. Let's bring that back. Can you talk to Mick? You got it in there with Hoffman. Talk to him.
Well, I'm telling you this. I will break this on this. I know there's a grassroots effort in Puyallup that I'm hearing about that is trying. They would never change the stadium away from Carl Sparks Stadium, and I know businesses have come in and said, "Can we name it a car dealership?" Carl Sparks, long history of Puyallup, but I know a lot of people are trying to make it Mike Heward Field at Sparks Stadium. So I think they should
cool.
push forward to that. I think Mike deserves it. Everything he's meant to this community. So we'll see how that goes along here in the future.
And that's what you guys got tonight, right? On the big, the King 5 big game of the week.
Well,
Puyallup and
yeah,
Emerald
and
Ridge.
and now we're dealing with that world of high school kids transferring. Puyallup is taking on one of their rivals, Emerald Ridge. And I say one of them because another one is Rogers, another one is Sumner. But Emerald Ridge is starting quarterback, played at Puyallup last year. Emerald Ridge's starting running back is now at Puyallup.
Not cool.
We got some kids. We got some moving parts tonight, so I'm sure we'll get a little intense down there. I mentioned the name Dane Looker. He's got a kid by the name of Lawson Looker that's coming off 2 100-yard games. So it's going to be, and couple former Emerald Ridge players. Denzel Boston, obviously the star wide receiver now for the Huskies. Jacob Lane, both played for them. And I also found out in my history books, the Hatchet Boys. Yeah. Hatchet Boys played up north for, I believe, I believe they're Ferndale, the Hatchet Boys. But their dad actually played at Puyallup High School back in the day with the Hewards. So
well, great tradition there with that high school. So it's going to be fun to watch. So let me ask you this Mariners question that was posed to me this week. Jim, I'll start with you. And initially I was like, I don't want to answer it this way. And then I eventually did. So it was asked to me by one Mitch Levy from the Mitch Unfiltered podcast. KJ Arntz. How would you, and I'm just trying to think how he phrased it specifically. What's a successful season in the playoffs for the Mariners, Jim?
Making it to the World Series and not winning.
Okay.
That would be the lowest bar for me this year, because making the playoffs with this team isn't good enough. And when you're one of the favorites to win the whole thing and you've never been to the World Series, anything short of that, it's not a successful season.
Chris, do you agree?
I'm going to answer it in 2 parts. From somebody that was down there at spring training, when I was at spring training, at that point, success would have been a wild card spot getting into the postseason. Picking up Naylor, picking up Gino Suarez, seeing what Cal Raleigh has done this year, Julio getting hot. I am 100% with Jim Moore on this one. I think for me, success would be getting this franchise into their first ever World Series. An American League Championship Series would be amazing, but for me right now, I believe, and I think that's why there's just so much excitement around this team, is everybody believes this is the roster, this is the team that can finally get them to the World Series. So I'm with Jim. Get to the World Series. I think they get to the World Series. yeah, you dream big, you hope they win it all, but I mean, at that point, you're playing for everything. So.
Yeah, so I waffled a little bit, and then I finally said, "Just screw it." Yeah, of course. I think to me, if they don't make the World Series, it'll be a disappointment.
Yeah.
I just think that the way that they are, and it's just the way they're built right now. But on top of that, Jim, kind of what you said is what I echoed is they're the last team that hasn't been there. For God's sakes, man, it's got to end. And they don't have to win it. They don't have to win it, but they've got to get there. And they've got a great path right now. I mean, you don't even want the number one seed because you want to be off. You want to be the opposite side of that bracket. And yeah, they're going to be great. And the rest is going to be good for them. And they just keep playing like they're playing. Obviously, they're as good a chance as anyone.
Well, they're too good for even the Mariners in the past to blow it this year. I think they're just too good that we always sit there and go, oh God, how are they going to blow it? There's always that part of you that's going, oh God, how are we going to be disappointed this year? And I just think that they're so good that that's not going to come into play this year.
Well, and you
like if they get beat, I don't think it's going to be like, oh God, they had 3 errors in this game, or they, went hitless or whatever. I think it's going to be like, God, the other team was just a little better. That's all. I don't think they're going to blow it this year.
I'm with you, Jim. The lineup is just too stacked. It's like, and I go back to that game 1 against Colorado. They load up the bases, and Randy Arozarena didn't get a call that he liked, and you look back at the EQC tracer, it was a ball, and then Cal Raleigh just has a batted bat, and you're just like, gosh, but here we go. Here comes Naylor to the plate. Naylor lays off the first 2 pitches. It's 2-0, gets a pitch he likes, boom, 3 runs are in. It's just like you do not let up with this lineup. It's one person after another. So if a Cal Raleigh has a batted bat, guess who's up next? It's Naylor. If he has it's Geno Suarez. It's just and
if Naylor doesn't come through, there's Polanco who's hit 25 home runs this year.
It's just they're very impressive right now, and the fact that we can start talking about this, guys, is that you have Bryce Miller now more than likely going to the bullpen. I mean, you're going to have this bullpen's already good with what Munoz is doing, with what Spire's doing, with what Matt Brash is doing. Now you're going to put Bryce Miller as a possible 6th and 7th inning setup guy. I mean,
it's and no team has got what they have coming out of the bullpen. No one has a Bryce Miller or it potentially, and I'm going to assume it's going to be George Kirby. No one's got that. No one's got 2 guys that they're going to bring out like that.
Yeah. And are you thinking Kirby that, I mean, I guess the first series is 3 out of 5, correct? So when you keep a 4-man rotation there?
I think you could, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Kirby will probably be the 4th guy in there, but I think your top 3 are, well, depending where Wu is health-wise, but I think he'll be fine. Wu, Gilbert, and Castillo. That's what I would think. So
4 quality starts in a row for Castillo. He's definitely I was a little nervous about a month ago with him, but now
that
I mean he's
did I hear that right? You're talking about putting Kirby in the bullpen if you just go with 3?
If you just go 3, yeah.
God, if I'm George Kirby, I'm not having it. I'm just not having it. I'm a team player, but I'm not having that. I think he's been good enough and shown enough that I think you just go with 4 starters.
I think you do. I think you do too, Jim, because you're going to go Saturday game 1, Sunday game 2, then it's going to be Tuesday's game 3, Wednesday's game 4. So Saturday to Wednesday. I'm trying to think in my head days rest.
No, I mean,
are you guys sure? Are you guys sure on Wu being the game 1 starter?
Nothing sure on that
at all. I'm just saying that if there's a chance he could be. There's a chance he goes game 2. I'm just thinking. I just think if they were in a situation where they weren't going to use 4, but they most likely will, that Kirby coming out of the bullpen, not because Kirby has been bad, he's a different pitcher than Castillo is. He's a strikeout pitcher. He's looking for strikeouts as much as possible and has the velocity and the arsenal to get more strikeouts. But again, they're going to probably use 4 and he'll be part of that. And yeah, you're right. To use Miller coming out of the bullpen as well would be great. They just don't. They have an arsenal. Yeah, Hancock. Yeah, exactly right.
By the way, if you're a Mariners fan and you're dreaming big and you're looking past the ALDS and you're thinking Toronto wins, I'm just telling you right now, I've been to Toronto. I've been in that stadium for 2 games, the wild card games. See if you can get yourself a room right now. There's literally a hotel inside the stadium, so you can be out in center field and pull your curtains and you see the field. So this is one of those where you could book early and cancel later, but check into that. It looked like a fun little place to be if you're a Mariners fan.
Well, and again, as we look ahead and we want to look ahead, right? We want to look past the ALDS right now.
Yes, we do. But we can't, again, I know.
It would be great theater for the Yankees, but there is just something that I want Toronto, just because of the invasion coming down north and what that environment would be like at T-Mobile.
Oh yeah, it would be crazy. And all these, I mean, I'd love to see Detroit. I'd love to see Seattle use Port Angeles lefty Skubal there pitching against the Mariners. Would be kind of fun.
Oh, I don't want to see that. I would prefer him not.
I'd like to see him play the Yankees. Just beat the hell out of the Yankees.
That's true. Yeah, the Yankees would be fun. Well, the Yankees would be the best one in terms from an overall, right, Jim? From an overall theatrical standpoint because of Raleigh and Judge.
They would make so much of Cal versus Aaron, and then that's the good thing about the Mariners. There'd be so much about those two that you'll have guys like Canzone will come through in a big way, Polanco, Naylor. So
when I'm sitting in the game there on Wednesday, and we're up in the nosebleed sections, up in the bleachers with a common man. That's where I like to sit. And I don't realize how popular Canzone is. They play the song after he gets the hit, and everybody, like the entire crowd, is doing that, doing the thing with their hands. And I just sit there and go, yeah, but he bat flips. I don't like him.
You have to like it now. That kid has pop in his bat.
Well,
if they get to the World Series,
phenomenal.
If they get to the World Series, and he won't do it, but I would do it. I would hold a press conference the day before Game 1, and I'm Jerry DiPoto. I come out with a shirt that says 54%, and I drop the mic and I walk up the stage.
You know what is so interesting that you bring this up? I think I was talking to somebody about this. It is, from a Mariner standpoint, it's this weird juxtaposition that you're in, because you love the baseball team.
Yeah.
But 90% of this fan base despises the GM and ownership. You know, where they introduced, where was I at? Was it at the Mariners game? They said they acknowledged, it was when they clinched and Dan Wilson's on the field. And he goes, I'd like to thank ownership. Did you hear the crowd reaction? It was overwhelmingly booing. So it's you're in this weird, because you're like, I don't want them to get credit, but I want the team to win. Does that make sense to anyone else?
But you got to give them credit. You have to give them credit for what they've done. And I go back to spring training. There was a Mariners fan that every morning would try to get there before everybody, and he would put these stickers of Stanton with the money signs in his eyes up. And then somebody from Mariners would have to come out and peel them off all the foul poles and stuff like that.
That's phenomenal.
And we've come a long way from day one of spring training to where we're at now.
But Jim, you get that, right? Everyone wants them to win because of the team, because it's so likable. But then on the same side, you don't like ownership and you don't like the front office.
Well, I'm torn. I mean, I like John Stanton just because he's been nice to me. So I understand why people don't like him, because he doesn't spend enough money, especially when you're on the cusp of doing great things. And the only time they were able to get these guys that really helped them out was at the trade deadline, when they're basically rent-a players. So that was typical of the Mariners. But, I mean, good on them for doing that. But I can't stand Jerry DiPoto. And so, I have a hard time. I have to kind of put that aside. And I have to show some respect for the man. God, I hate him, though. I just can't stand him. He's one of those guys that's, I'm the smartest guy in the room. I want everyone to know that. And I'm going to throw out a bunch of syllables that you've never heard of before, and just to show you how smart I am. And yet I have to kind of give him his due, because look at this team that he's built. But if I'm Jerry DiPoto, I'm thinking, hey, you know what? All you people that thought I should have been fired a long time ago, screw you and you and you and you and you. And look at me now. Look at me now.
That's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do, Egan. He's going to sit up there and he's going to be like,
Everett, Everett Aqua Sox champions, Tacoma Rainiers champions, coverage of. You know who I love, by the way? I think he's just a really nice guy. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to meet him. It's Justin Halder. Just a
Oh, he was great. Yeah.
class act.
Oh, Justin's cool.
Yeah.
He's a guy I want to have a beer with. You know, Jerry, if I had a beer with him, I'd want to put it on his head, I think, after a while.
And as much as
Hollander looks more like a seltzer drinker than a beer drinker. Just my observation.
Seltzer drinker. And as much as we root for this team to get to their first World Series ever, and you know, for us that have covered them, the fans that have watched them and spent money, I just think of like Tim Hevley, Kevin Martinez, Greg Green, just some of these just Mariner lifers that have spent their life over there behind the scenes, and just how special this year is for them. And I don't know. I would love to see Kevin Martinez and Hevley picking up a World Series championship, because these two, they've been class acts from start to finish.
All right, Chris.
I love Tim Hevley, man. I just love him so much, and I'm hoping he'll come through with playoff tickets for me.
And that's why he loves them. Just for that. Playoff tickets. He's probably already emailed them. Chris Egan, King 5. Catch the King 5 big game of the week tonight on King 5 Plus, Puyallup and Emerald Ridge. And check him out all this weekend, as I am sure you're going to be anchoring on King 5 Sports. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend.
There he is. Chris Egan. All right. We got to get you now caught up, Jim Moore. We're late. We apologize. Gambling, because that's what we do best, or worst, actually. And joining us, as he always does every Friday, it is our PuckSports handicapper. It's Troy Wins from TroyWins.com. Troy, did you eat some peanut butter and spread it on your lens? What's going on there?
You know, I can't figure out why it's doing this. I was cleaning it backstage, trying to figure out what the hell happened. I don't know what's going on with it. It's weird.
All right, let's get into the games. You got a host of games to pick, and then also we'll do our lock of the week. Quickly though, TroyWins.com. I go to TroyWins.com. What am I getting?
You get all plays, VIP, all sports. We cover absolutely everything. It's not just myself, guys. It's a collective team putting our heads together each and every day to put out quality picks. It's $100 a month. That's a little more than a cup of coffee a day. Truly feel it's the best bargain going. And we're hot right now, guys. We're hot. Our top plays are hitting well above 70%. It's all documented. You can follow us on Instagram. It's Troy West as well, where everything we do is all documented on Instagram as well.
All right, let's get into the games. We'll start with college football. Lincoln Riley's upset. He had to kick off late last week, and now poor USC's got to play in the early game. Jeez, that's too bad. USC's favored by 6.5 at Illinois. Who you got?
Boy, I think Illinois got exposed last week. Indiana just put a thumping on them. I just think this Illinois team's not very good. USC's looked pretty solid both sides of the ball this year. Give me the Trojans minus the 6.5. I think they take care of business in Illinois.
Boy, the big game locally, the Huskies hosting Ohio State. And this line, I think, started out around 12. The Huskies getting 12. It's down to 7.5. Is that smart money that's coming in on the Huskies, Troy?
You know, I don't want, obviously I'm going to be a homer. I'll take the Huskies in the points. I think this one, you're going to know in that first quarter. I think either, if Ohio State's going to run the ball and run some more. And if the Huskies can't stop them, it could be a long game. If the crowd gets involved and it's close, I think they have an opportunity to win. I would take 7 and a hook. I think the Buckeyes probably win a close one, 28-24, but I'll take 7 and a hook at home.
All right, Alabama is at Georgia. Kalen DeBoer on the road getting 2.5.
I think DeBoer finally gets the big win at Alabama. I just think they're playing much, much better after getting that onslaught against Florida State in the opener. They're playing good football right now. I'm not a big believer in this Georgia team. I think Gunnar Stockton's average at best. I think he gets exposed by that Alabama defense. I think the Crimson Tide take this one, 28-25. Give me the Crimson Tide outright.
In the NFL, 2 unbeaten teams going at it in Tampa, I believe the game is. Or is it in Philadelphia? I don't know, Troy. You can help me out with that. But Tampa getting 3.5 against the Eagles.
Yeah, I'll take Tampa's at home in this one. I'll take the home dog. Give me Tampa. They've just been rock solid. Baker Mayfield's been solid. I took the bad beat last week. I gave out on the show the Rams plus 3.5. I really thought they'd win that game against the Eagles last week. They get the field goal blocked and lose. But the Eagles, to me, just haven't been that impressive. I get they're undefeated. but Tampa's great against the run. Give me the Bucks in a close one. Bucks win the game 31-28. I'll take 3 and a hook.
All right, Ravens taking on a Chiefs team that is off to a little bit of a tough start. Ravens coming off that loss to the Lions, favored by 2.5 against Kansas City. Who do you like in that one? Yeah, we lost Troy here. Hold on. You know what? You know what's happened there, Jim Moore? He received a phone call, and then that's why it muted his phone.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened.
I just, as you know, enjoy it when other people screw up.
Yeah, let's see if we can get him back on here. See if we can get you. Troy, can you hear us? Nope, can't hear him.
Troy's back.
All right, that's okay. Well, it's fine. You got to hit the do not disturb on your phone. It's, that's
well,
that's
we've
what
got
happens.
it in front of us. He likes the Ravens giving 2.5 against the Chiefs.
Yeah. The do you like that one? The Washington one, 7.5. Didn't it? Wasn't it like 12.5? It's already down to 7.5 now.
Yeah. Well, the Huskies at home. I think they won every game at home last year, and so I think they're upset about not being ranked at this point. So they want to make a statement, Puck. That's what they want to do. So, yeah, I probably would stay away from the game. I mean, you and I are going to be rooting like hell for Ohio State.
Oh, I'm taking the Buckeyes, by the way. That's my lock of the week.
Are you?
That 100%.
How
And
come?
That's offensively, Washington. This is the best offense that Ohio State will see. They're at home. Okay, but I watched a Cougar offense have its way up and down the field. Again, have their way. This is a way more talented offense, thanks, Tips, than what Washington State had. They've got 2 wide receivers. Jeremiah Smith would have been the top pick in this year's NFL draft. And if the Davis kid is out again, I mean, they're just going to have a field day with those 2 wide receivers. I mean, I don't know. I just don't. Maybe it's a good game, but 7.5. I'm going to take the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and Ohio State travels well. There's going to be a lot of Buckeye fans there.
Sure.
It should be a hell of a game. College football tomorrow will be great. I'm looking forward to our game. I really like the Cougs with Zevi starting, getting 5 points at Colorado State.
I saw Kirk Herbstreit complaining. Did you see this? Complaining with all the games tomorrow. He's complaining that there's too many. Think about, this is what he's complaining about. He's complaining there are too many good games on and that they should be spread out. Is Kirk Herbstreit a fucking idiot? Isn't that what people want? Like, I'm a sports fan. I want good games on. Like, what is he like? Sometimes these guys that cover college football specifically are kind of morons.
No, I can't wait for tomorrow. And and I'm having trouble with the new college football landscape with everything. But these games tomorrow are going to be a lot of fun. I mean, you look at Alabama, Georgia, and you've got the Washington, Ohio State game, Oregon at Penn State to kick it off, at 12:30. I mean, it's going to be fun tomorrow.
Let's try. We got to get Troy's lock of the week. Let's try him one more time. Troy, you back with us?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, guys. I apologize. Can you hear me?
You received a phone call. That's why.
I had do not disturb on. That is weird.
Yeah.
That is weird.
All right. What's your lock of the week?
Lock of the week. I'm going against my favorite team of all time, guys. I can't believe I'm doing it, Jim, but money's more important. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers minus 6.5 Sunday Night Football. This line's too low. The Cowboys, boy, they're hard to watch this year, guys. The worst defense I've seen in quite some time. You've got the Packers coming off the embarrassing loss to the Browns. You've got the Micah Parsons factor. All that goes into this. Give me the Packers in a big, big way. Sunday Night Football. Packers win that game 31-13. Packers minus 6.5 is my lock of the week.
Jim, what's your lock, bud?
Okay, first off, Troy, I want $25 on Dallas.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Cowboys as a home dog. I'm going to go against your lock of the week. Are we on?
Okay. Done. Done.
Can you afford that if you lose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I got you, Jim.
My lock of the week is the Cougs at Colorado State,
Mm.
getting 5 points with Zevi Eckhouse. If we can run the offense the way we did against the Huskies, we should be able to do that against Colorado State, which lost to Washington earlier this year. And so I think with Zevi Eckhouse there, taking the snaps, firing it around, I think the Cougs are a lock tomorrow at Colorado State.
Yeah, and Troy, I'm sorry. I'm taking the Buckeyes plus the points. It's a Colorado State team that's not that good, that was tied with Washington in half and was really in it the whole game minus the fourth quarter. Cougs offense is not that good, and they move the ball up and down the field on Washington. Give me the Buckeyes minus the 7.5. It's gonna be a lot more than that.
God, we're going against the professional handicapper. What the hell do we think we know?
This is too easy. This is too easy. It's like he just gift wrapped a bet to us. This is too easy.
Play better in front of those crowds. I don't. You can take.
Didn't Colorado State play in front of that crowd?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Be a lot of Buckeye fans there.
Hey, Troy, come on, man. We're betting with our heart because we were disappointed we lost to Washington last week, and we want to see him get it handed to him this week.
That's true.
I get it. Tomorrow's a defining game for the season, no doubt. Well, if they can compete and stay in there, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully that if Ohio State's blowing them out by 30, he keeps Damon Williams in there because he wants to get him to 300 yards.
Exactly.
Because, that's important in the NIL world.
It is.
All right. We will, TroyWins.com. Again, one more time. People go to TroyWins.com. What are they going to get?
Yeah, right now, guys, it's $100 a month. I think it's the best bargain going. That's 30 days. We cover absolutely everything. NBA's right around the corner. Hockey's even right around the corner. College football, NFL. We cover it all. That's TroyWins.com. Group of guys putting our heads together each and every day to get out the best picks possible.
There he is, TroyWins.com. Thanks, Troy. We'll see you next Friday.
All right, thanks, guys.
There he is, Troy Wins. Yeah, we went against him. Yeah, that's a lot of heart, but I also think it's a lot of brain too, be honest with you.
I just went against his lock of the week because I heard Mike Greenberg this morning talking about it, and he's right. He's typically right. When the public is so one-sided on one side, like they are with Green Bay, like bet MGM, it's like the most bet NFL team. You go the opposite direction. I understand that the Micah Parsons thing with Green Bay, he wants revenge, all of that. But still, I think Dallas was 6.5 is the.
You guys say that. You say that in particular all the time. I'd like to see. True. It's not. I'd like to see some hard data that suggests that when the public bets one way, in a majority way, that it's the other side that wins. I'd like to see you send me stats that says that.
Okay.
I'd like to see that.
I just think when it's one-sided like that, well, let's see. Okay, so hold on. The Chargers. Who are the Chargers? The Chargers are playing. Okay, go ahead. I'll hold on.
What did the public bet on last week in the Apple Cup?
I don't know what the public bet on last week. I didn't see it being one-sided. Was it one-sided? Was it on Washington?
Yeah. So what did they cover or not?
Are you sure it was one-sided?
Pretty sure it was one-sided.
Okay.
The line never moved. And remember, it started off like 11.5 and went to 20.5. That would suggest that all the money was on Washington, and it never moved. Okay, so what happened?
Washington won the game.
Did they cover?
Yes, they covered the game too.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess you just shut me down there.
No, I'm just wondering.
Shut me down. Go ahead. Just go against Troy. I did too. Okay. Here's one for you. So the Chargers are playing the Giants, and everybody thinks the Chargers are going to roll in there and beat the Giants because Jackson Dart's getting his first start.
Okay.
So 88% of the money at BetMGM is on the Chargers to cover whatever their spread is, -6.
It is 6.5.
Okay. So you go with the Giants on that one.
Okay.
Even though it looks ridiculous to go with the Giants because you got Justin Herbert. The Chargers look like they might win the AFC West this year, finally overtaking Kansas City. They beat the Chiefs in Brazil. So you're thinking, oh, my God, how can the Chargers lose this game?
Okay.
Well, look what happens in the NFL. Who would have thought the Browns would beat Green Bay last week?
All right, let's test the exercise then.
It's the same with Green. So 88% of the money's on the Chargers, 88% on Green Bay against Dallas.
Okay. So let's just test the exercise.
Okay, just those two teams. Watch those two teams.
Oh, no. We're just going to test it. I'll take, for $20, I'll take the Chargers.
Okay, what's the line? What do you have?
6.5.
Okay. And then do you want Green Bay?
No, we're just gonna do the Giants Chargers game.
Okay.
$20. All
right.
So you have the Giants plus 6.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And I don't like the Giants. I really don't like the Giants.
I don't like this bet at all. But whatever. Let's just test out the theory. Let's see if the public is right, or you claim that any time there's a overwhelming bet by the public who apparently doesn't know anything, but you do, the smoke and lock of the week does, and you go against it. We'll see.
Well, okay, Puck, would you agree that the public is typically wrong? Because if they were typically right, these sports books and casinos would be out of business.
Well, that's a valid point. That is a valid point. Well, just see. I think they're right more often than not.
Yeah. All right.
$20.
$20, and I've got the Giants in 6.5.
You got Jackson Dart and the Giants. All right. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. As always, go Cougs.
Okay, thanks, Puck. Go Cougs.
There he is, Jim Moore, with us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, brought to you by Brotherton Cadillac, Clean Streak, and also the Angry Beaver in Greenwood. We continue our Friday Football Tailgate Show. Coming up, we'll get the last word with Bob Condotta after yesterday's Seahawks victory over Arizona. Before we talk to Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times, Friday Night Lights with Todd Milles covering high school sports, covering high school football. We catch up with Todd every Friday. Of course, his new website, varsitywanews.com. Follow him on Twitter at varsitywanews and check out their YouTube podcast and their podcast platforms at Varsity Wa News. What are the big games tonight? Looking forward to all the action on Friday night and Saturday. And also big news coming out of Garfield High School. Brandon Roy has been removed as the head basketball coach for the boys team. Friday Night Lights with Todd Milles. It's time for Friday Night Lights. It's with our good friend Todd Milles, Varsity Wa News. You can follow him on Twitter personally, by the way, Mini Hats Milles. Also, his new website, varsitywanews.com. And then on Twitter, it's Varsity Wa News. And also their YouTube page covering all things high school sports, Varsity Wa News. Todd, it's another week of high school football as we look in the rearview mirror before we get to this week's games. Anything from last week's high school action that surprised you? Any results?
I think Puyallup is making a loud statement in the 4A SPSL. They have a bunch of new players. That's been Sumner's league to kind of brag about, Graham Tapausen's league to brag about. They both won state championships here the last 3 or 4 years. But I think Puyallup is going to be a big factor. They beat not a great Skyview team, but a good Skyview defense. They kind of ran roughshod over them. That was surprising at Spark Stadium. They get Emerald Ridge, another good defense this week, and then they get to go face Sumner, and we're going to find out a lot about them. But the early returns on Puyallup football with a lot of new guys for first year coach DJ Mims has been promising. What I thought was sort of the big two in the SPSL 4A might be the big three.
When is Puyallup Sumner?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I might have to venture down there, Puyallup Sumner, to watch that. That might be a fun game.
I don't know why Chris would he might as well just leave the King 5 production truck down there after this week, because I think he's probably going to end up back there.
That's right, because we're going to get to that game, because the King 5 big game of the week is Puyallup and Emerald Ridge coming up this week. And let's talk about some of the big games coming up on the Friday night slate. Let's start in the Metro. O'Day versus Eastside Catholic. O'Day, of course, led by Monty Cola. Big news this year. He sets the all-time record for wins. And then there's Eastside Catholic, is always just a formidable force there in the Metro.
Yeah, I mean, the big question for O'Day is, what's that offensive backfield going to look like? Is it going to be the two seniors? Is it going to be Hutton Leverett at quarterback and Uriah Stringfield at running back? Both guys did not play last week. In fact, Hutton Leverett has not played since the opening series in week 1, out with a shoulder injury. They've been replaced by young guys. I mean, they've got a kid that's been playing, Elias Moy at quarterback, a 9th grader. I don't know the last time Monty's played a 9th grader at quarterback, but he hasn't done it very often, if ever. he's done a good job. He's a dual threat that actually was in the Graham Kapowsen youth leagues and transferred in. He's done a nice job kind of holding down the fort. And then they've had a kid that's Jay Sean Wilson, who's had back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. He's a sophomore in place of Uriah Stringfield. So what's that backfield going to look like against a mean, physical, hungry Eastside Catholic defense, who has, a bunch of D1 guys, as you know. If they get the seniors back and guys that have faced that Eastside Catholic defense before, I like the calming impact that Hutton Leverett has on that offense. But if it's the sophomore and freshman, it could be an adventure, both good and bad. So we'll see we'll see who lines up here tonight at West Seattle Stadium for the O'Day Irish.
The Crusader strength is where?
From the Eastside Catholics side, they have Kevin Thompson, Jason. I don't know if you remember him. He's a former Auburn Riverside quarterback. He went on to UNLV, Sacramento State, was with the Huskies for a year, a dual threat, had a really good college career. He's now the quarterback coach for the Crusaders year one, and he's got an interesting quarterback in Luca Villaseñor, a junior. It's gonna be interesting to see how much they trust that first year starting quarterback to throw deep and try and get some big plays on an O'Day secondary that's given up some big plays the first few weeks. They've got Asa Thompson, they've got Titan McNeil, they've got some guys to get the ball to. But will they trust Luca to throw and see if he can score on some big plays? They've got the running backs led by Nick Jones. They can really grind it out with O'Day in the rushing attack. But the difference is how many big plays can Eastside Catholic get? I think that might be the difference in the game, actually.
A great game this weekend, Todd. Because it's a great story. We saw this kind of program kind of come from nowhere, really. And maybe nowhere's too strong of a description or too strong of a word, but we saw it a few years ago when Anacortes won the state title in the town, and everyone turned down. To me, that still was the best crowd that I saw at Husky Stadium, as all of Anacortes was there for that game. They've got a huge game. Anacortes and Linden is just going to be a sensational game this weekend.
Yeah, I think I've said this on a number of occasions. The last couple of years, I think it's been the best story in the state of Washington. I don't know if people outside Anacortes realize that program was left for dead. They had no dudes. They gave up a varsity schedule. They went independent, and then all of a sudden, you join the best 2A league in the state. And with Linden and Archbishop Murphy, Burlington Edison. Squalicum's been good. Seahome's been good. Guys that, teams that just knock you all over the place. And for them to not only hold their own, but excel and then go win back-to-back state championships, it's a remarkable story, like you said, Jason. And their offense hasn't missed a beat at all. I don't know if people, if we talked about Brady J last week, the Moses Lake quarterback that could be setting some single season records. But if there was no Brady J right now, we'd be talking about Ryan Harrington and Anacortes, who was hurt a little bit last year, so he was in and out of the lineup. He's got 900 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, a couple hundred yards rushing the football. He's got, a great receiving core. Zeke Hawkins, Micah Dickinson, the tight end, Luca Moore. He's the D1 recruit. They're going to move the ball. They're going to score points. The question is, does Linden want to get in a game like that? Do they want to get in a game that's in the 30s and 40s? Because Anacortes has no problem, playing with pace and playing with points. I don't think Linden wants to do that with Anacortes, even at home. I think they're going to control the clock with a big bruising running back and Max Asink and a really good defense. That Linden defense, though, needs to limit the big plays. I think they're going to give up a couple, but if it's only a couple, I think that's okay because Linden is efficient. They're a well-oiled machine, as you and I know. We've grown up watching Linden football in whatever classification they play in. They're always good. The home crowd's going to be out here tonight. It's a great place to watch a game. They're one of the few, grass fields still going. So it's going to be a great atmosphere for kind of the first game of that blockbuster league. They're going to start playing one another, those two teams in Archbishop over the next few weeks. But this is the game that sort of kicks it off, and it should be a doozy.
I'm glad you put this on the list of games. I saw Skyline last week against Issaquah, sat in there with Egan on the big the King 5 big game of the week. And then I just love Bothell. I love everything about Tom Boehner and the Bothell program and just all of it. Bothell Skyline should, again, is kind of a classic matchup, and it should be a great game as well.
Yeah, I think Skyline's kind of getting Bothell kind of at the right time. Bothell went to Lewiston last week. Quarterback Matt Small, they have a high hopes for him. He didn't play well. He got pulled during the game. In fact, they played their running back, Sion Swem, at quarterback. When he's in the game, they're going to run the football in that go-go offense. But right now, they've got some things to iron out. Their best receiver is out. It's Carlin Goschnauer. I think Skyline's catching him kind of at the right time. Now, I don't know how Skyline's going to match up with Bothell's offensive line. That's the best unit the Cougars have. That's a little bit of the reason why I think Tom went to the go-go offense a couple years ago. He wants to be a little more run-based with that big offensive line. They're all seniors, but his 10 best skill position guys, Jason, are non-seniors. So this is kind of the start of a growing and building group. So, but they're still trying to figure things out, especially at the quarterback position and getting some consistency there. You saw a quarterback last week at Skyline that, he's got a big arm. It's sort of a grip it and rip it guy. He's got seniors all over the place in their skill position. And you got Kason Williams as your offensive coordinator. He's one of the Skyline greats. And then obviously Pelor is a defensive guy, a Coug, and one of the best players in Skyline history, on defense. So I like how this program is coming together. I don't know if it's this year, but they're both 2-1, and who knows? The 4A Kinko is so weird and wild. Anybody can win it. I don't know if there's a great team in the 4A Kinko, but I think there's a bunch of teams that if one gets hot, they can go win it and are a pretty good seed for the WIA playoffs.
Yeah, I was really impressed with watching Skyline last week against Issaquah. The young quarterback who's a sophomore is just he's going to be a good one. He's going to be a real good one. He's got a great presence about him. He's got a live arm, quick feet, very fiery kid. And that's a tradition up there. They've got a lot of great quarterbacks have come through Skyline, and he just looks like maybe just not to put pressure on him. The Max Brown and the Jay Keeps, those guys were fantastic. What they did in high school and then obviously in college, but he seems like they've got a good one up there. All right, we mentioned this briefly, but what about the King 5 big game of the week? Puyallup and Emerald Ridge, and obviously Puyallup, you just mentioned it. They've got a huge game next week coming up against Sumner, so you try not to look ahead to that game, but taking on a very tough opponent there in Emerald Ridge. Yeah,
it's Puyallup's high octane offense against that Emerald Ridge defense has become kind of unpredictable. They come at different angles. They're hard to read, especially for a high school quarterback. It's more a higher level, stuff that they run. I just think Puyallup has too much. Luke Parker is an athlete that took over a quarterback last year due to injury. He's playing the first 4 games this year before Puyallup gets its transfers in eligible after week 4 in time for the Sumner game. This will likely be his last game at quarterback, but he's coming off a really good performance against Skyview. I just think the Vikings have too many weapons on offense, and Luke kind of makes it go. He's a serviceable quarterback. He'd start on a lot of different teams, but when he's done at quarterback, he's going to go back to wide receiver and be a pretty darn good wide receiver too. But like I said, Puyallup's a team that's coming, Jason. I would not be surprised if this is a team that's a high seed and playing deep into November, even with a bunch of new guys and a first-year coach who got a taste of the state playoffs last year. He was at Mercer and did a great job getting them to the postseason last year.
Let's go one last thing for you. Non-football. Huge news coming out of high school sports and high school basketball in Seattle, especially in the Metro League. Brandon Roy and in addition, the girls basketball coach, Roy Smiley, out at Garfield. Obviously, Roy is the headliner here. What do we know about this? What happened? I mean, basketball season is right around the corner, so I would assume this caught him and others off guard.
Yeah, this is kind of a multi-layered scenario, Jason. I think what we are seeing is some of the aftershocks of what's gone on with Roosevelt football. The Metro League has been placed on 3 years probation. Seattle Public Schools has been put on 3 years probation. Both of them have been fined. I think administrators, both in the building and at the district level, are kind of tightening the hatch. Say what you want about Rainier Beach and say what you want about Garfield basketball, boys basketball. They are the legacy. I call them the franchises of the Metro League. They're the ones that carry national acclaim. Look at both coaches, Brandon with 4 championships and Mike Bethea at Rainier Beach with 10 championships. There's varying opinion about how both of them have built their programs, and I don't want to get into all that. I'm not intricate with either program, but what I do know is people in Seattle love those 2 programs, and I think the decision to go a different direction in both Garfield programs, I think it kind of came out of left field. I don't think this is the end of it. Brandon Roy, he's had 4 state championships. He's built a very quick legacy. He's not going to take this line down. We're going to see more out of this in coming weeks from Garfield.
Okay.
But right now the decision to go to try and hire two different coaches is going to be interesting to see what their next move is and who they hire, because look at the shoes that they're filling. 2 guys that have won state championships and are very popular in this community.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to highlight something real quick before we let go. And just a heartbreaking story that you wrote about the Johnson family in Mount Si. I encourage people to go read it. VarsityWaNews.com. Taylor Johnson, a player at Mount Si, losing his father, Jeff, after brain surgery. It was very nice reporting, and I would on a very difficult story, Todd. And go check it out at VarsityWaNews.com. Get yourself a subscription to Varsity Wa News. Follow them on X at Varsity Wa News, also YouTube, and on all podcast platforms of Varsity Wa News. Go check it out. And then tell everybody what you do late Friday night, which creeps into early Saturday morning.
Yeah, we have our Midnight Reactions podcast with former Graham Kapowski coach Eric Curley, who won a state championship there and retired. And then Matt Evans, I think we both know him. He's a computer rankings guy from the Tri-Cities. The 3 of us kind of, chew the fat on what's gone on in after each slate of Friday night games, and then we bring on a guest, and then we finish with our hot takes. And so I think that podcast is sort of picking up some steam. But please check it out. I know next week we have a blockbuster set of games, Jason, so we'll have a lot to talk about here in week 5, but let's get through week 4 first.
There it is. Friday Night Lights, Todd Milles. Again, follow him, Varsity Wa News on X, also Mini Hats Milles. Check out the new website covering high school sports, VarsityWaNews.com, YouTube page, Varsity Wa News. Also, Varsity Wa News on all podcast platforms. Check it out. He'll have a recap of all the action late tonight, summarizing all the Friday night football games. Great stuff, Todd. Enjoy the week and enjoy tonight. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Talk to you next week.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
All right, it's the last word with Bob Condotta of the Seattle Times. You can follow him at B. Condotta. It's all brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Bodhisattva, Rogers Pilsner, and their new Tavern Beer Tasting Room, Beer Garden, open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. All right, it's a quick visit with Bob. He's got to catch a flight, get out of Arizona. We're going to recap the game last night between the Seahawks and the Cardinals. Well, it looked like, Bob, they were just going to, kind of run away with the game a little bit like New Orleans, but then they kind of stalled it in the second half a little bit, let Arizona come back in, and Jason Myers, though, redeems himself after missing a field goal. What was some of your takeaways from the Thursday night victory there by Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I had a story all ready to go about how this was going to officially announce them as sort of a power in the NFL. Like 3 straight weeks, they've sort of blown somebody out, or at least kind of run away with the game and won by double digits and all that. And then, just some sloppiness, as kind of a couple of guys said afterward. I mean, the penalties. Kyler Murray they kind of let Kyler Murray loose for one long run. That last drive, I think they were trying to play it conservatively, make him have to go, take a long time to get down the field. I think banking on they could stop him on 3rd or 4th down or whatever, and they couldn't get that done there. But if Myers makes that field goal, with the 3 minutes left or whatever, they probably win it fairly easily if they don't get called for the holding penalty before the Charbonnet run that got called away. I mean, there was just 4 or 5 things like that I really prevented this from kind of being the blowout that I think it could have been. But statistically, it looked like it was, and I think to me, that's the big picture. I know it's frustrating as a fan to watch that and kind of see it and see them almost blow it there. But I think if you look at it, they went on the road 5 days later. That's a tough turnaround going on the road for the Thursday night game, and they were the better team on the field for that game for sure. Other than kind of 3 or 4 fluky things that just kind of happened that kept it close.
Bob, we've got 4 games now to evaluate Mike Macdonald in the second year. Thoughts, but what stands out?
Yeah, well, it's funny. I was going through some numbers this morning and kind of trying to make the point that, they were 3-1 last year at the same time. They won their first 3, then they lost to Detroit. So this year they've kind of done it in a little bit of a different manner. Lost their first one, and now they've won 3 in a row. And then it was at this point last year they began a streak of losing 5 out of 6. It kind of derailed things. But I feel like this 3-1's a little better, and one that just really stands out. I mean, and I'll look down to make sure I've got it right here. But their yards per gain is 5.7. Their yards allowed is 4.5. That's on an average play. That's a really significant gap. I mean, 1.2 yards per play better that you're doing. Last year it was 5.5 and 5.3. I know I'm pretty sure you have to go back to either the 14 or 13 seasons to find that big of a differential in yards per play and what they're gaining and what they're allowing. And that's the sign of what is in general a good team. When you're doing stuff like that, their yards per pass as well, I think is 8.1, and what they're allowing is 5.1. At 3 yards, if you do that all season long, you're going to win, 11 or 12 games probably. And so those are the numbers to me. I know, again, penalties are frustrating and missed field goals and things like that are frustrating, but the bigger picture of what they're doing on a play-in, play-out basis with their guys up front, especially on defense, I think is impressive. And that's what you were hoping to get, right? When you hired Mike Macdonald, I mean, they're even after last night, they're 4th in points allowed, 16.8. That's what you're hoping to get. Those last few years of the Pete Carroll era had really been frustrating from a defensive standpoint. You were hoping Mike could really fix the defense, and I think he has. And then, it's kind of going to be up to John Schneider and other people, I think, to fix the offense. And I think with Sam Darnold, I think we're seeing that they have probably done that as well. Sam Darnold continues to play well. So despite, again, how hairy the things got last night and me having to write a terrible story that completely rewrite it in 5 minutes, but I would be encouraged.
It seems that Leonard Williams has taken Byron Murphy under his arm in the offseason, and in year 2, he just looks like, I want to say, completely different player. I mean, rookies struggle and they're learning the NFL and all that, but Murphy just looks like a totally different player, Bob. Leonard Williams just looks even better than he did last year. That front 4 guys that they're bringing in is really just being the strength of this football team right now.
Yeah, it really is. You were hoping it would be, right? I mean, Leonard Williams is I guess your second highest paid player, maybe after Sam Darnold, but they paid him a lot of money. They did, Byron Murphy was the second defensive player taken in the draft last year, so it's no surprise. I mean, this is what they were hoping to do, but they knew they had to do that. And again, and some credit to Pete Carroll, I guess he was there when they made the Leonard Williams trade. I think he realized that their front needed some help, but doing that. Jaron Reed as well. And Jaron Reed continues to just play well at the age he is, and he's given them some good moments too. On Murphy, you always want first round picks to come out and just, hit the ground running and all that. But, I think he's still only 23 years old. Those guys go through that draft process, the combine, or they go to the combine and stuff like that, where you sort of train differently than you do for, getting ready for an NFL season. And, there's the excitement of handling all that. I give him some benefit of the doubt last year for just that. And then if you recall, he hurt his hamstring in week 3. And I do think it took him a while to get back from that last year. If you look, some of his analytical numbers just in hurries and stuff like that from Pro Football Focus the last month of last season were not bad. And, he was showing some signs. This year, I think with just that kind of having a normal year to just prepare for football and full off season, all that kind of stuff, I think you're now seeing what they hope to get all along. And you're right. I mean, if he keeps playing to that level, they're going to have a really good player for a long time. And Leonard Williams just shows no signs of slowing down at all. To me, it was a huge joke that he was 99th on the NFL top 100 player list. I mean, I can't imagine there were 98 players better than him last year. And I don't like, there's nowhere close to that. But he's really doing that. And they're playing to those guys' strengths. And, Ernest Jones up the middle as well. He continues to make some plays, and then like getting Julian Love back last night. I mean, they played well at safety last week as well, but they're kind of strong up the middle, which is what a lot of people tell you. You got to be good. You got to be good in the NFL, and that's 4 of their best players right now are kind of the guys that are right up the middle of your defense.
All right, Bob Condotta, it depends how you look at this. You can be cautiously optimistic or pessimistic when it came to the outlook on Sam Darnold for this year. And I think people just didn't know. He has, though, been very efficient, very sharp through the first 4 weeks. He continues to be able to throw the ball downfield at a high rate. I mean, if he's not, he has to be leading the league in passes over, 10 yards. He has to be. He made a gorgeous throw, late in that game, fourth quarter, on 3rd and 6 to JSN. But he's been very efficient so far for them.
Yeah, he's been really good. And I don't have it off the top of my head, but I think I retweeted it last week. He did have a stat where he was among the league leaders in passes of 20 yards or more in the air, completions that went in the air 20 yards or more. And he has been very good at that. His connection with JSN, just getting that immediately. I think the Seahawks might have read this one right a little bit. I mean, he's a guy, he's 28 years old. He was coming off what was his best overall season. People probably read a little bit too much into those final 2 games. You kind of had to look at the entirety of his full season last year instead of just those last 2 games that kind of went awry. Probably, he had a 35-12 touchdown to interception ratio last year. I mean, that's really good. And if a couple of them, if a few more of the, if those last couple of games didn't go right, I mean, it wasn't totally him that those in those couple of last games other teams got pressure in Detroit, which probably just better than the Vikings last year anyway. So I think there's some things like that people probably kind of overrated and didn't look at the totality of what he's done. And again, kind of a young guy who maybe just took a few years for him to totally find his way. But the New York Jets are a disaster of a franchise anyway. So the fact that his first 3 years didn't go great there, I mean, he's not the first guy who's gone to the New York Jets and it hasn't worked out. So it is just 4 games, so you don't want to be too excited that way. But again, another stat was last night. I think he's averaging 8.9 yards per pass last night. The team record is 8.8 by Dave Craig in 1984, the famous 84 season when Kurt Warner got hurt. Dave Craig basically just spent the season chucking it to Steve Largent all the time. Yeah, and but again, that's another really good stat, and why they have such a good yards per pass overall is because of his ability to do that, and then his ability to run too. You saw the big run he had last night, and just his ability to get out of pressure and everything. They just got to hope he stays upright. He has had a little bit of an injury history in some of his previous seasons, which was another concern of him. But he played every game last year, and so far this year he seems to. I just get the sense having gone through what he's gone through, having revived his career last year. I think he's probably kind of the most confident and comfortable he's ever been as an NFL player, and the Seahawks are kind of benefiting from that.
There he is. Last word, Bob Condotta, Seattle Times. Follow him at B Condotta, brought to you by Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale, Bodie's Offer, Rogers Pilsner, and Tavern Beer. Tasting room and beer garden open daily, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Visit georgetownbeer.com. Safe travels home, Bob, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you. Again, you miss any of Bob Condotta's visit with us. It will all be podcasts later on the Daily Puck Drop up on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Just search Puck Sports. Bob Condotta, the last word from the Seattle Times, with us every single Friday, brought to you by Georgetown Brewery. Let's wrap up the show with Hey, What the Puck, which is brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle, your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. They're locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Big weekend here for the Mariners coming up in their final 3 games. It starts tonight against the LA Dodgers. Place is going to be jam-packed. It's sold out. It's the Dodgers, Ohtani. It's going to be incredible. There still is something to play for. As Mitch Unfiltered, brought up on yesterday's KJR and say, you think of the World Series. Do you want home field advantage for the World Series? Well, you very well could face the Dodgers in that. I want all of you, though, if you're not going to go to the game, because many of you aren't, I want you to take some time out when you're watching the game and think about something. And I want you to thank all the men and women that work at Root Sports this weekend. Thank the people that you have watched on your television every single night. But those aren't the only people. Thank all the men and women that work behind the scenes. Because this could be, and likely will be, the last time for Root Sports. Future of that network is doubtful. Most feel that next year Major League Baseball will take over all production, which they've done, but all of it, and take everything in-house. The result, well, good maybe for the bottom line, but bad for the people that have worked there for a long, long time. Again, many of it you see on camera, but many of you that you don't even know who work behind the camera. They're going to lose their jobs. And I know there's this popular act in this market to complain about the quality of the broadcasts and then the broadcasters themselves. But this job is their livelihood. And after this weekend, it's likely gone and replaced with some cookie-cutter product that lacks an originality and local passion. So when you're watching the final 3 games, just remember all the people that have worked there for a very, very, very long time. Because that's it for them. That's Hey, What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Thank you, everyone watching and listening to today's show. Thank you to all our sponsors, Limbach Lumber, Georgetown Brewery. Also, Jim Moore's sponsors, Clean Streak, Brotherton Cadillac, and the Angry Beaver. And did I mention Restoration One? Also, find the Daily Punch Up on your favorite podcast platforms. And, of course, you can find it up on YouTube as well. But Apple, Spotify, does not matter. And you can find everything, by the way, at PuckSports.com. When you're there, please sign up to become a member of the Pucks Posse. Just $5 a month. You support all the free content we do here daily. Plus, you get bonus shows every single week. Our baseball coverage with Ryan Divish, KJ Arntz with Mitch Levy, our monthly podcast with Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson, the Sports Pit. And we also produce now the Graz with Gas Take 5 podcast, airing or being released every single Monday. Thank you for watching and listening again. Have a wonderful weekend. We will talk to you again on Monday. As always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!